From the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course. Alongside Seth, Merrow, I am Anthony Mormino. If you'd have told me, Seth, in my 20s that I would ever say this, starting week 4 on August 3rd. This would, I'm sure of, that in the late 80s, I believe this was opening day. August 3rd would be it, right?
August place today.
Hit you right between the eyes, opening day, and another gorgeous morning. It's one of those ones where we even have a light breeze, a low dew point. It's just spectacular out here.
Yeah, this may be the best morning so far.
Yeah, so if come up for the races. I mean, it's a 10 race card kicking off at 1:05, but the weather is beautiful, and we're working our way towards the first half of the meet. Unbelievable.
Whitney draw at 11 o'clock. I'm going to go over and maybe pull up some video from that for tomorrow, but
nice.
That happens today, and it looks like it's going to be a fun Whitney this weekend. Certainly going back to the weekend, 29,000 on Friday, 37 on Saturday. Sunday, another 23,000 announced attendance. Sunday also had Twitter abuzz with the sibling to Mo Donegal prank getting it done, and Twitter was extra abuzz with a big performance out of Del Mar from a horse called Justique, who looked like the second coming of Zenyatta circling the field, but with her buyer, I'm not sure she wasn't beating up on a suspect group, but Prank and Justique looking good in debuts, coast to coast, and so some fun conversations on the 2-year-old scene amongst racing fans, as they say, on social media over the weekend.
Well, watching Del Mar live, I tweeted out that Bob Baffert had a 1-2 shot in the race. I hit on Twitter, I go, I think they got the wrong 1-2 shot. But the thing about Justique that I think people like is how she did it, where she wasn't like a stone cold closer. Remember Scipione a couple years ago up here? But she tipped out of the 3/8 pole, and then it seemed like when she figured it out and changed leads, she just exploded. And Baffert's runner, I think, was Mike Pegram's Silks, the familiar McDonald's red and yellow. I think she finished 3rd at 1-2, but John Sheriff's firster getting the job done, and I think she got a 72 buyer, and I think Prank got a 91 buyer. So we'll see how what the future holds for those 2-year-old fillies.
Yeah, and I hope just the buyer is not indicative and she moves forward. That's going to be fun. But again, the buyer number was a little bit below, what will get you excited. But Frank, that sibling to Mo Donegal, that really had folks a buzz up here. And as I say, we closed out the week in fine fashion with, we had David O'Rourke in here on Sunday and Loose on the Lead, and I was mentioning.
I think you guys just wrapped up that show.
I think
he was outstanding.
Again, we're getting close to August. We were at the last few days of July, and people started to show up. And I think there is still that mentality of people kind of gearing to the track as it gets to be August time.
Well, one of the things that I learned in my 30s was in marketing studies, and my family was not this way because 3 of us have birthdays the week of July 13th, is we took July vacations. That is the minority opinion. The bulk of people, and I'm not talking that come to Saratoga, but when they've done studies about when you take, August is a vacation week that's done almost a 2-to-1 ratio over July, which was something that, was almost news to me because that's not what we did. But and now it's been in the news. They always talk about like a 7-game series. The series builds up and we get more viewers for game 6 and 7. Well, we've been here, front page of things, and people are like, hey. And the weather's been fantastic. I mean, this is exactly what you wish for when a game is played outdoors.
Yeah, and also over the weekend, jockey karaoke. You can go to Twitter and whatnot and pick up a lot of the replays. Very entertaining.
Did you go to that? Did you go to that?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. Highly
recommend it. Is there a basketball game this year?
Yeah.
Do I need to worry about you making it to the set the next day?
As I said, I made my basket and retired.
Okay.
But we'll have Humberto Chavez from the racetrack chaplaincy out tomorrow to kind of promo the basketball game. It benefits the chaplaincy, so we will promo the return of the jockey band. And that's a lot of fun because you wouldn't think it, but some of them are
Who's the best one?
Or the Ortiz brothers.
They
are
can
very
play.
Good. Oh yeah,
all right.
They can play. And then on the other side, Jeremiah Englehart. Watch out for him.
Elbows.
Oh,
okay.
He makes some noise underneath. So, yeah, that's going to be tomorrow, and so again, and that's part of what makes Saratoga fun. It's a place where there's so much of a social aspect. A lot of the charities, a lot of the racing-related charities get to take advantage of that.
Did the basketball game? It used to be a softball game, so they just moved it over to basketball. We used to have a charity softball game.
Yep. Yeah, the jockeys for a while were playing state troopers for a while.
Played the media. They played everything. So now it's basketball and the Ortiz brothers. Who's the third best one?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
But those two, they can play, huh?
Some of them are really good, yeah. Some of them not so much.
Who'd you guard?
Well, at one point, one of the Ortiz brothers was coming at me, and I went right up on him, and I was kind of laughing, and he kind of laughed too, and then went right by me. It was like no contest.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
I do not.
All right, so it seems like Irad Ortiz is fervently
22 after Sunday's results. Irad 22, Joel 17, Luis Saez 16. Then we bop down to Javier Castellano with 11. On the trainer side, Chad Brown with a 3-win lead at 15 over Todd Pletcher with 12, Christophe Clement 9, and Mike Maker with 8. Steve Asmussen with 5 currently.
Yeah, just zips in and bing, 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 bing.
5, but they were pretty good amongst the weekend. Gunnight looked pretty good on Sunday.
And I want to compliment your detective work, Seth, because I think the flying the ointment for the stats on the NYRA site is that race, because I noticed they seem to have. So when we do Race Across America, I have the stats. I went off the racing forms number of runners because they seem to coincide with me, and they were one off. And I looked at a couple of trainers had horses in that race, and that seemed to be the one more, because that affects ROI, particularly for trainers. So I think you nailed it, where that race has been the fly in the ointment as we go forward. Yes, Corniche, injured coming out of the race, right? That was kind of, you kind of figured something went wrong. I mean, it was just such a lifeless performance. I saw him in the back of the pack, but you're right, Gunnight, though, a good performance for $16.80. It was time for the DePaula play of the day, ladies and gentlemen.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Silverado, just $3.99 a month. Yes, $3.99 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hi, everybody. Steve Beck for the DePaula Play of the Day as we start week 4 at Saratoga. And mid-card on Wednesday, a maiden special weight going 5.5 on the grass. And this is older, 3 and ups. Have a bit of a pedigree play, and it's Triumphant Road, 10-1 for Iris Smith. She paid $475,000 for this quality road ridgeling out of Foxy Socks, one of my favorite horses from about 15 years ago. Carla Gaines trained, a multi-graded stake winner, grade 1. I don't think she won a grade 1, but a grade 1, grade 2 type on the grass. And this is a horse that Eddie Barker brings back for the 3-year-old debut, this ridgeling, working steadily, not smashingly, But I got a sense that this is a horse that's going to take to the grass, and Javier Castellano, who can do nothing wrong right now, is aboard. Positive ROI, just 1 for 8 the last year and a half with Eddie Barker. But still, there's some things to like. The horse on the rail, upper level, way the horse to beat for Jimmy Jerkins, coming off of a very solid debut downstate, also moving to grass, a midnight storm. But if we're going to take pedigree into account, Foxy Socks, Quality Road Ridgeling here, Triumphant Road 10-1, I think is worth play of the day status. Good luck. Talk to you tomorrow.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Equinox, just $259 a month. Yes, $259 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
It sounded like he sort of admitted they didn't
So,
handle. Welcome back,
That was
ladies.
my fault.
That's
I
all
didn't,
right.
I didn't count you down correctly.
That's all right.
Because we only have one earpiece.
Live television. Some of the parts are good for the end of the year bloopers. 10 race card on Wednesday. 10 race cards we have usually, but on Wednesday we have the jump. And don't think I am not counting down to keep that positive ROI in the jumpers, boy. If we have 8 of them, I need one more winner. But if we have 7 of them, I'm
I have to look
clear.
that up because
But
we had
it's
the
close.
good one. We had the
It's
good
right,
one.
1560. I know where we're located. This is only the 3rd one, though. So it's like, so I'm wondering if 7 is going to be the magic number or 8 it is going to be. But don't think I'm not trying to get one more winner here to finish in the black for the jumpers. This afternoon, it's the 4-year-olds and up Jonathan Kaiser novice at 2 miles and a 16th. They're throwing, all puns intended, Seth, they're throwing even more hurdles at me. I got novices, which is great.
I have it 5, 7, 2, and 6. I put How You Bud on top. Came over from Ireland for Kerry Bryan and won in the United States debut and did it pretty impressively. I couldn't get past this one, although the horse I have right underneath and the horse underneath that, similar scenarios in that good performances coming stateside. But this one, How You Bud, lightly raced, performed well over in Ireland over the hurdles. Then again, came over here and ran very well last time. So we'll look for this one on the move up to Saratoga to be very intriguing this afternoon as well. But Burn the Evidence, interesting. A mare facing the boys. But because of that, she gets in with a nice little weight break. My top pick is at 153. Burn the Evidence is at 146. Theocrat is at 159. So again, got a little bit of a weight break for Burn the Evidence. Another one that came over from Europe and ran decently in the first start in the United States, which I think bodes well for today, as did Theocrat, the number 2 horse. 10-1 on the morning line. I'm going to be interested to see how the odds shake out because I'm kind of with the morning line. But really, I think Theocrat is very interesting at 10-1. And there are a couple of reasons. A, like the top pick, came over from Europe and looked very good in the United States debut. But B, it was a colonial. And I think you have to give a little extra check mark to these horses that come out of the racetrack environment to win over the jumps as compared to some of these other horses who are coming out of jump venues, which are a little bit different than the racetrack. So as I say, Theocrat, take an extra look at 10-1 could be a player in here. I have it 5, 7, 2, and 6.
I have the other Irish bred on top, Going Country. I had fun with these races, and I do want to finish in the black. But I was just thinking, I wouldn't know how to. This is a stakes race, but I'm like, okay, but this horse is coming out of grade 2s, which I figure have to be much tougher than this. I Burn the Evidence that does scare me on the outside, but Going Country to me, I like the horse had broke their maiden, then won first time versus winners, and then off course. One of my favorite things in the jumps. They just this isn't for me today, so I'll go out. I thought the last effort though, it says no menace, but I think a nice prep for this, a stakes race. So it's 3, 4, 5 for me as we try and keep it positively rolling with the jumpers for 2022.
All right, move on to race number 2. And again, we will kind of remind you that on these jump days, race 2 kicks off your early pick 5. Keep that in mind. The jump days are a little bit different on the racing menu. So early pick 5 kicks off here in race number 2. State-bred ladies, maiden claimers for a 40 tag, going 3/4 of a mile.
Do you remember when there would be 2 jumps in the pick 6?
Oh, at the end of the day?
No. On Fridays was always one of my favorite days to come up here, but they ran jumps on race 4 and 6.
Oh, okay.
And the pick 6 used to be 3 through 8, and I know that it drove pick 6 players crazy. And then eventually, I think through a couple articles written by Steve Chris, that's when they, I want to say like 92-ish, slid them to the first race and got them out. But we used to have multiple jumps on days. But it's 6-8-4 for me as we get the flat racing underway. And I like Frosty Invasion here. You go back to the second career start when running for a tag. That was going the 1-turn mile at Aqueduct, scored a victory, ran its best race. Then went to maiden special weights, which is very reasonable for me. Dominic Schettino, though, gets back in for a tag for the first time since that second career start. Trevor McCarthy was aboard the 3rd place finish. So I have Frosty Invasion, if you're guessing, yes, an offspring of Normandy Invasion on top. For second, outside, number 8, Dorothy's The Boss. This is a John Kimmel runner who's tried maiden special weights for a handful of races, but has been in this condition for a while. Exits 2 turf sprint races, gets Jose Ortiz on board, and if I read Twitter correctly, a new agent to come.
Oh, I don't know.
I think he is split with his agent and has a new one. So and for third, number 4, Ace Up Her Sleeve, second time starter for Steve Caceres, gets Lasix off since last August. And just one thing I'll touch on, number 5, Mike's Little Diva, who's 15-1. You don't see this very often, but the trifecta out of its debut race all came back to win their next start, including Truancy the other day in the opener. So it's 6-8-4 for me.
6, 1A, 8, and 7. I think the 2 was playable as well. I thought this was a competitive race, and I just kind of tepidly landed on Frosty Invasion on the class relief. As you mentioned, was in for this tag earlier in the career and ran decently. I think the return for a tag is going to provide a move forward. Glittering Prize, the 1A, was in an off-the-turf for last time and showed a little bit of life. That was back early in May, so a little bit of a layup. It comes back for Jim Bond, and Luis Saez jumps on board today. That kind of attracted my attention as well. And then Dorothy's The Boss. Turf to dirt move. Seemed maybe, it's hard to know. Improved on turf or improved after career starts number 8 and 9. It's hard to know exactly which, but there are numbers earlier on the page that say it maybe is the latter. This horse is getting back into good form. I think the horse is intriguing. And I will mention, Darn That Song goes out for Eddie Epps. We had Ed Fazone on the other day. I wouldn't knock this one. There are back numbers there that may darken the form a little bit. And I wouldn't be shocked on that darkened form to see this one float up a little bit from the morning line of 7-2. And if you get some odds, Darn That Song playable as well. In the second at Saratoga, 6, the 1 entry, 8 and 7.
On to the third, we have 3-year-olds, just 3-year-olds, claimers in for $25,000, racing 6.
6, 5, 2, and 4. Put Letty on top. Steve Asmussen runner adds Lasix. What was notable was the race 2 back, the maiden breaker. That is bookended by a maiden special event and a starter allowance. So the horse is, in 3 starts, has been in for a tag once, and when dropped in for a tag, clearly ran the best race of the life. So gets back in for the tag this afternoon, or deuce tag. I like that you look down at the workouts in this horse. They elected to look at the condition book and come in from Ellis, so they must have a little bit of confidence in this spot. So seasonal debut where the horse could come back potentially even improved. Now, if that's the case, the reduced tag leaves me a little bit suspicious, but you know, they only paid $50,000 for the, or $90,000 for this horse and already have $40,000 in the bank. So, you know, there are question marks, but I do think this horse is intriguing on the scenario and the move in from Ellis. Second spot, Never Early, comes down from the Finger Lakes, but another one. You go down, you look, allowance at the Finger Lakes, optional claimers started allowance, and then you get down, claiming race. The last time the horse was in for a tag, aired, one for fun, so another one I think is going to benefit from the class move. And then Print Track, the 2-horse, another one coming in from Finger Lakes, Linda Rice runner, also should benefit from the move in for the tag and has some early speed. May wind up being the Catch Me If You Can horse in here in the third, 6-5, 2 and 4.
Right. One of the things I want to touch on is, sometimes, you just glaze over the conditions, but this is restricted to 3-year-olds, and I think that's important. And one thing I think I remember you saying, Seth, that you would like to see in the form is when they have these 3-year-olds and up races and nobody and up runs in it, some type of denotion, maybe putting it in a box or something that indicates that in truth, at the end of the day, it turned out to be just 3-year-olds running for a tag.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. 2-6-4 for me, and Irad Ortiz rides for Linda Rice. And this is a runner who, is coming back off of allowance races and has very good record, 6 furlongs on the dirt. Now, those allowance races were at Finger Lakes, but this horse shows good early speed, the offspring of Awesome again, and I like Pin Track on top. For a second, I have Letty getting Lasix for the first time as a 3-year-old now. I did have a question because, they caught a real break. When you run a maiden claiming race and you win and you keep the horse, that makes you eligible for starter allowance races, and that's a condition that has popped up all over the place. And they tried it and it didn't work out, and that was back in November. Now they're dropping in for 25. Be interesting how many claims are put in for this Steve Asmussen horse. But for third, number 4, not yet. Charlie Rudy sends out this runner off consecutive turf tries. They add blinkers this afternoon. 2-6-4 in the third. We'll take our first break. When we come back, more live from Saratoga.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467, and win more with Capital OTB.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report as we kick off another week here at Saratoga on a Wednesday. Seth, Merrow, and Anthony Mormino live from our Clare Court location as we kick off here. It is the Dark Horse Play of the Day. The smart bet is always the Dark Horse Play of the Day, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile, 445 Broadway, downtown Saratoga. I continue to tout, swing by, browse through. You will enjoy your time at the Dark Horse. Racing memorabilia, there's clothing, apparel, home decor, and then down the street their sister store, Impressions of Saratoga, as well. But the Dark Horse Play of the Day today, and I will readily admit there will be days like this. Tomorrow, and it was Saturday or Sunday, I had 2 horses at prices I liked. Tomorrow there's a couple of horses at prices that I could have gone either way. Today, I had nothing clever in a real dark horse definition. So I'm going to take a 4-to-1 price, which I'm not tabbing necessarily. I'm not tabbing at all. It's really the kind of dark horse you would think of. But I think it's an interesting horse. You get a double-digit mutual if the morning line holds up. So I'm going to go with race number 6, horse number 4, Lady Jasmine. Had this one on top a few days ago, and the horse was on the AE list and scratched. But I'm back here again today. Cairo Prince is a sire I like quite a bit as a sire of first-time starters. 51 first-time starters so far this year. 8 wins, 7 seconds, 5 thirds. Really good numbers. Dan produced a couple of interesting siblings, one called Proper Grammar that won its debut. Maiden claimer just earlier this year, going 6 furlongs on the turf. There was another sibling called Moonak Boss that in the first 4 starts of the career, over in Korea, but first 4 starts of the career, third, 7th, and then 1. So I thought there was real win early, top and bottom. Dave Donk's having a very nice meet. So I thought this horse at 4-1 and potentially could float up, I think, given that I think the Clement runner on the outside will take action. Favored on the morning line, and I think deservedly so. But I'm going to go dark horse play today, race number 6, horse number 5, Lady Jasmine this afternoon. Dark horse play today brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga. All right, we will move on now to race number 4. Another Eddie Epps runner in here. I think Eddie has 3 in today, but Jasmine-esque in this race, the number 1. I didn't pull the trigger there, but in the 4th, $25,000 claimers, they will go a mile on the turf.
And there's 7 entered in the main body. The 8 and 9 are MTOs. I am 5, 6, 3. Golden Voice gets my top pick for Mike Maker, and we'll touch on him a little bit at the end of Racing Across America, Seth. And I think off the top of my head, he won the opener on the dirt of the meet, opener of the meet, and all the rest of his wins have been on the turf. Now, what I thought about this with Golden Voice is fits in the mix, but what I found awesome in the 12 races listed daily racing form, I think it's 8 different racetracks. You don't see that very often. I mean, I think that's tremendous. I mean, moderate stakes racings and some others, but I have 8. So I still call it Indiana Grand, Pimlico, Keeneland, Chirpway Park, Del Mar, Santa Anita, Belmont, Pimlico, Kentucky Downs. You don't see that too often anymore. But this is 9 to 5 on the board, the offspring of Golden Horn, having a very successful 2022, and obviously the barn going great. For a second, number 6, Charge Account for Tom Morley with a $25,000 claim. Love the effort going a mile down at Belmont. Now remember, that's kind of like that, practically a 1-turn mile. You get the 2-turn here, but it's only a field of 7 for the turf race at the maximum. And for third, number 3, War Canoe. Steve Caceres is running a good effort coming out of the same race as Charge Account. So 5, 6, 3 in the 4th.
We're in the same ballpark. I have it 5, 4, 3, and 6. I put Golden Voice on top. Mike Maker, again, having a good meet. And a bonus that his good meet is particularly good on the turf, because we're on the turf in this race. So this one, a little bit of class relief, comes in off a, kind of a dud last time at Indianapolis. But I think the races just before I fit squarely with this bunch. Brittany Russell comes in with Adelaide Miss. If you're not familiar, she's a high percentage trainer in the Mid-Atlantic. Hasn't had success with just a few starters here so far on the racing form stats, but I think this one coming up to Saratoga with the class relief, maybe this one breaks through, and it certainly is going to be in the hunt here, you would have to assume. And then War Canoe in the 3rd spot, another one getting some class relief, and again, class relief that I think is going to be beneficial. It seems like all three of my top picks are making that move and are racing well enough when you look at this particular bunch with the class move. They should definitely be in the conversation and in the hunt, you would think, late in the race in the 4th at Saratoga. 5, 4, 3, and 6.
And speaking of Golden Voice, Vin Scully passed away.
Oh.
You know what's amazing to me about Vin Scully and all of his culture, though? 41 years ago, as a freshman at SC, and he was the voice of the Dodgers. And he only gave up that job a couple of years ago. But my point was, in 1981, he'd already done it for like 25 years. And he did it for like ever, but Vin Scully passed away.
Period. I mean, it's been Bill Russell, Uhura from Star Trek passed away.
Yes,
Pat
I
Carroll,
saw that.
who if folks don't remember, look and see her picture. You will, if you're of my age, you will remember her on all kinds of TV shows and everything. There was a whole little spate of passing away over the last year. But Bill Russell too. And Vince, I didn't see Vince Scully.
Bill Russell had one of the great lines that I've ever heard. He was one time like a young fan saw him and he said, "There's Bill Russell, the basketball player," and he said, "No, I'm Bill Russell, the man who plays basketball." I thought that was a great denotation. On to the 5th race today. 3-year-olds and up, maiden special weights. Open company dashing 5.5.
1, 5, 2, and 6 for me. The number 1 is out in the 5 post position because coupled with the main track only horse. But the Linda Rice runner in the seasonal debut ran very well. Ran a close-up third with a solid and lifetime best buyer number. You would think if this horse improves at all off of that, becomes tough in here today. Number 5 in the second spot. Going to be interested to see where the betting public goes because I am on the morning line favorite, but the number 5 I think has a lot of talent, and with the betting public as focused on buyers as they are, I wonder if they will maybe tilt towards the 5. I debated putting that one on top. I'm just not thrilled with cutbacks on the turf. Now, this horse has run sprints on the turf before, has done okay doing it. But again, the cutback just left me a little bit shy of putting this one on top. Third spot, number 2, Upper Level. This one leaves from the rail for Jimmy Jerkins. I thought a decent-looking debut where the horse showed some punch before fading, but it was on dirt. Now, scratching my head a little bit why the surface switched today. But I think if this one can improve off of that effort, and that's the kind of effort I think you can improve off of, where debut, you show some punch, then fade a little bit. Upper Level is interesting to me, and I'll just reiterate that our man Steve Bick today has played the day number 4 Triumphant Road. I got to reiterate, it's a 10-1 shot, so took a little swing, and good luck.
And probably going to be all of that 10-1 off of that debut.
But I have it 1, 5, 2, and 6.
Now, you live closer to the racetrack than I do. Did you receive any rain Monday or Tuesday?
No.
I mean, this was the first Monday. Once we've started racing here, we received no rain. My thought being is how firm it is out there. I mean, it's got to be getting to the point of rattle your feet, summertime firm. 165 for me. If I was in the Times Junior today, Java Buzz probably would have been my best bet of the day for Linda Rice. Flavian Prot, Seth mentioned the seasonal debut. That was back on July 3rd, so plenty of time, a full month to come back and maybe less muscle regression for this runner. For second, right next door in the starting gate, number 6 making the second start since late January. Bill Mott's runner, very sharp, but that was on dirt. Now they will sprint on turf for the first time, the offspring of American Pharaoh, and for third, number 5. Bill Mott sends out this offspring of Summerfront, who I like. He's a son of Warfront. He's a quiet stallion for me. It stands for 7,500. He's going to sprint for the first time since February, running third down at Gulfstream. So 165 in the 5th.
A fun race, number 6. Again, my dark horse play of the day was in here, but I think this is a fun group of state-bred maiden special 2-year-old fillies going 8.5 furlongs on the grass.
And it's surprising that there's really just 5 in here. The 8 is an MTO. As we go the mile of 16th, I'm all outside, as it turns out. 5, 6, 7. I know you like Cairo Prince. You can touch him, and you have Lady Jasmine on top. And this is where I went with the first time starter. This one of these owners was the owner. David is listed as an owner also, but he trained in Curva Optimus for this owner, who I think is one of the best 2-year-old turf horses I've ever seen. John Velasquez gets
also
the
was New York bred, right?
Yes, he was. Yeah. And in my opinion, was a 2-year-old champion of 1998. For second, number 6, Sweetest Princess. First time starter to complete the Cairo Prince Exacta. This one goes out for George Weaver. Manny Franco listening for third, number 7. 9-5 on the morning line. Christophe Clement sends out Smoky Eyes, the offspring of Nyquist. I think you undefeated Derby winner.
That sounds right.
I think it was the last time he won a race, but I think he was...
Doug O'Neill?
Yeah, so, I think he was undefeated, won the Derby, and I think he only ran about 3 more times, but I think the Derby undefeated, untied, unscored upon. 5, 6, 7.
5, 7, 6 for me. Again, I hit on Lady Jasmine earlier with the breeding top and bottom, the win early breeding top and bottom, Dave Donk having a good meet. The horse to beat to me, though, is going to be Smoky Eyes. And 9-5 on the morning line. I think this horse will take action. The betting public up here is keyed into breeding and whatnot. And this one, Nyquist on top. Nyquist is very good with debut runners. Does very good with debut runners on the turf, or has so far this year. More of them have been on other surfaces, dirt, but the turf runners have done okay. But more importantly, and again, I think the betting public will be clued in. This one has a sibling called Phantom Smoke that won its career debut a couple of years ago in a maiden special weight 6 furlong turf race for West Point and Company. It was a nice performance from that one in debut. So again, there's some nice win early breeding, and I would expect this guy to, as I say, be the one to beat in here. Sweetest Princess in the third spot, also by Cairo Prince, goes out for George Weaver. And again, there's a little bit of breeding there that's intriguing. I will toss out one, and I debated making this my dark horse play of the day. I just think this is a little more of a stab. But you're getting 12-1 on Burnt again. And Honorable Dylan with super limited stats, but looking him up on my sire list that I just pulled up the other day. So this is pretty up to date. 2 first-time starters this year, but 1 win. And I thought, I don't know, 1 for 2, 12-1. I'll put him in my exacta box in here, the number 2 horse, Burnt again. So I have it 5, 7, 6, and 2.
What's interesting is I had a long shot play of the day, and Dream on Cara would hit me right between the eyes. This horse very much, and then the only one we really didn't touch on about was Collaboration, who's 7-2 on the morning line. Now here's an interesting thing for horizontal players. As you were watching Prank the other day, who I think was 9-5 on the morning line, and if you're in the horizontal and you see 4-5, you're like, well, I'm doomed if I don't have her. Now, for me, as a trifecta player that I'm going to stay away from the race, you just are like, well, that's probably not too good. I don't have Prank on the ticket. They probably have a runner here, and then she just went out and did what she's supposed to do. How do you get through the 6? You'd be sitting there going, you're going to take them all? I mean, or then you look up and one of these horses is really bet, like if it was Dream of Cara, you'd be like, well, that's probably not too good. I might be sitting on a very vulnerable
It is the first leg
ticket.
of the late pick 5.
The late pick 5, yes. Yeah. They did that wisely. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the late pick 4.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Vartley, and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s, and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on a glorious Wednesday morning, August 3rd, kicking
Horse
off
is working.
week 4.
This is the best morning so far, just because the humidity has kind of dissipated, at least for today.
Oh, what tomorrow could bring. You're going to be hearing flip-flops.
Friday from the look at Friday.
No.
When I looked at the long-term, Friday was 99.
I think that's Thursday.
I thought it was Friday. Maybe you're right. I thought it was Friday.
I'd like to see you in flip-flops and tanning oils and tank top or something. I think it's tomorrow. It's supposed to be really rough. But State Bred's in the 7th race. 3-year-olds and up, in for 45 or 2X. Going to come out of the Wilson chute, run the mile.
3-1-6-4, and I will once again mention, because always like to root for the locals, but Eddie F says bar 14 in here.
14?
Going turf to dirt and stepping to the mud. I think all the Eddie F's horses are interesting today. Again, one I had in the mix and a couple others I didn't quite pull the trigger on, but I think they're all horses that you could take a look at and have some fun with maybe. But I went 3-1-6-4. Tiergan on top, claimed 4 10 Strike Racing. Had Marshall Graham on the other day. He's the guy behind 10 Strike Racing. Goes to Michelle Giangiulio, who won her first race, a stakes race up here last year for 10 Strike. We had her on the show right after that. And as I said, Marshall in the other day. And he's clever, very clever at the claiming game. And so I think picking this one up late in the Belmont meet, probably they had some Saratoga options all lined up, and I think this horse will be very live in here today. Vintage Hollywood in the second spot. Been facing some similar company, and it's been doing okay. Certainly number-wise matches up with this bunch. We're looking at the last 3 starts, a fourth, a second, and a third. But again, as I say, I think the buyers are a pretty good match with this group, which is, I think, a fairly competitive group and kind of overall an inconsistent group. So it's that kind of a race. You're not jumping in with a lot of confidence, but blew it in the third spot. Speaking of having folks in, I had Jason in the other day talking about looking forward to seeing his namesake run today. He knew he had seen the entries already when I had him in on Saturday. And the horse started the career for Mike Rapoli, who we also had in the other day, but Mike naming it after Jason blew it. And so good luck to Jason watching his namesake run today. And I think, has a win at Saratoga already. That was on the move from Belmont up to Saratoga last year. Maybe that scenario replays again today. In the 7th at Saratoga, 3-1-6-4.
Very tough race in here, folks. I think they're all live, which you can't say it often enough. 2-6-3, Daddy Knows, for me, is my top pick. Seth has doesn't have him on the board at all. It's a different horse. But Jeffrey Englehart's runners, to me, has been very, very consistent. Draws inwardly, has some early speed. So I've heard some jockeys talk about it. I heard Dylan Davis interviewed the other day about, this first turn and just getting through this first turn for the guys. And Manny Franco's on the inside with Daddy Knows. And I'm hoping he just gets some good early safe position on their way up the backstretch. Blew it. Number 6 is my second pick. Dylan Davis has this mount. Comes out of the Flat Out Stakes, which is almost 1 lap around at Belmont Park. But previous to that was on a winning streak. And for third, Tiergan. Now here's something, Seth, we've talked about. Imagine if that neck decision in the last race goes the other way. You have the claim and this condition is gone. There's no way you're not sitting realizing you claim. What claims have to be in like 45 minutes before the race or so? I don't know, but going, lose. You win that photo finish. That's not good, but they have this condition. They went for the 45. They get Irad Ortiz to stay on. Is the 8-5 favorite, 2-6-3 for me. And if the purse is $100,000, and is Naira 55 or 60%? So if it's 60%, losing the photo finish keeps them eligible for this condition, makes them 8-5 coming back. They're running, for the first place of $60,000. You have the animal and you're plus 15. I know there's expenses, folks. We're making it easy here, but 2-6-3 for me.
You mentioned the mile shoot, and I put out some stats every day in our little Times Union box. And for today, my stat was looking at the mile shoot. And I went back and looked, and by my count, there were 7 races so far coming out of the shoot. Post position 1 had won 3 times. Dylan Davis and Irad Ortiz had each won 2 out of the shoot. No trainer had won more than once. And I thought there was a pretty good mix of pace scenarios. There were some that were on the front end all the way around. There were some that was stalking, and there were 1 or 2 that horses had come from off the pace a little bit. So I thought pace-wise, it was kind of...
Now, one of the things that I do when I put a price for folks is, because I just felt years ago, it was like, it helped me decide, like, if the off-the-pace horses were all paying $3.80, maybe it was maybe it's just their talent alone.
Correct. Yep.
But you said, what, 3 out of the 7 are from the number 1 post position?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, Seth, I would say that is strikingly similar to the summer of '92 when they made the hodgepodge 1-mile races here. and they basically stopped him because it wasn't the Wilson chute. It was a slightly different configuration, but everybody just thought the inside was too much of an advantage, and we're seeing it so far. 3 of 7, you say, huh? That's pretty good.
I believe, as I say, I was
that's
literally going through the charts, but I think those numbers are correct. In the 8th, we are looking at a plain vanilla 50 claimer, 7 furlongs the distance.
You know, when I saw this, and after the fact, when I picked my exact, I'm like, Ray Leonard and Hagler. I mean, not that I would ever do that, but I'm like 6-8-3 for me, and Sugar Gray Leonard with Luis Saez in the saddle. Gelding first time. This horse ran on July 9th, and from what I've heard from trainers and everything, that seems to be a safe window to run back. So I'm going with the gelding information, which I like. Only third time versus winners, so. And a McLean's Music offspring. And for second, boy, I can't believe, what was that? The fight was 35 years ago. Number 8, Hagler, going out for Rudy for a tag 1 at Pimlico, going 6th, went in for 62. And for third, number 3, Buckingham Prince. Norm Cassie sends out this runner, just got beat half a length, going 7 at Churchill. So 6-8-3.
So you'll be boxing up the 6 and the 8?
That's very good.
I thought that was fairly clever.
It's very good. It's outstanding. It was almost like, it's almost as good as the fact that these two are in the same race together.
It is.
You know, because they're named by people that are probably nowhere close. And then today at Saratoga, Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler step in the ring again.
I have it 5-3, 9 and 6. Dots Dollar on top. Broke the maiden for 40, then came back in a starter allowance. They're salty, but it was an off the turfer, but won that. And then last time was in a non-winners and won down at Monmouth and ran third. I think at this 50 level, the Tom Morley runner is going to be squarely in the thick of things. Buckingham Palace going out for Mary Lou Whitney Stables. And so,
Buckingham Prince.
Buckingham Prince.
I've been there the other day. I was like, I almost fell in the same trap. That's why when you said, I go, it's not, because I almost fell in the same trap.
Are people, is it still a thing to try to make the guards react?
It's impossible now because it's at least 50 yards away.
Right.
I'm sure it would be, but you don't get that close to them to have no.
That used to be, they had to sit there stone-faced regardless. But again, goes out for Mary Lou Whitney Stables, so always fun to see, her colors back at Saratoga. Norm Cassie training, comes in from Churchill. Off a pretty good second against Similar down in Kentucky last time. Nice little bullet work over at the Oklahoma in anticipation of this. I think this horse is a very live player in here today. And Swift Tap in the third spot, off the claim for Rob Atras. And he's very good off the claim. I think fits nicely at this level with this bunch. And then you add in the off the claim stat for the trainer. And I think Swift Tap is also a contender in the 8th today. I have it 5-3, 9 and 6.
Looking at some of the prices of those 1 mile races. On to the 9th race, the Mellon Turf Course or the Outer Turf Course. 3-year-olds and up, fillies, optional claimers 62, non-winners are 2. Other than, I think, Mike, this is, I alluded to the other day, the Shine Again didn't fill.
Right.
That it would have probably been in this slot right here, but a very, very contentious turf race in the 9th.
The one entry, 2, 3, and 6, the one entry is Chad Brown and Peter Brandt. I think both halves of the entry are very live in here. Rocky Sky came from Europe, has had 3 stakes tries so far, including a couple this year. Now drops into a more proper non-winners of 2, and I think is a cozy fit on that move. American Bridge came over from Europe, tried Stakes Company in the last start of last season. The seasonal debut down at Belmont was against Similar. Horse showed a little punch before fading at 1.25 miles. I think this 1.16 might be more beneficial this afternoon. So the one entry, either half looks very playable. Second spot, Angel Palm goes out for Brad Cox. This is one of those that, boy, you scratch your chin a little bit. A couple of okay efforts maybe that bookend a really nice performance. I'm hoping we get back to that nice performance, and I didn't really necessarily find anything that said, well, I can excuse the other 2. I'm just hoping maybe the horse is one of those that comes out and is feeling it on a certain day and maybe today will be one of those days. Because if we get back to the race 2 back, I think the horse belongs. And then in the 3rd spot, Princess Fausia. Last few races, I think, again, number-wise compete with these. I think he'll be a player again today. But, again, this one's a little bit inconsistent also. In the 9th, 1 entry, 2, 3, and 6.
And I'm with you. I am the 1 entry. I'm take.
I think it'll be you, me, and virtually everybody else. I mean, it's even money on the morning line.
Yeah, this is, we talked, I mentioned earlier, if we had the old rules about coupled horses with Chad, in this case, they're coupled, you have the ownership, and that's, you got to have that. But it would be tough at this meet because his horses would be even lower prices with multiple entries. And Rocky Sky and American Bridge, to me, both tough for Peter Brand. Take either one of them. The offspring of Rock of Gibraltar is inside Rocky Sky with Flavian Prat, and the offspring of Kodiak goes out for Irad Ortiz. And I think they're going to be heck to pay. I mean, together as a tandem, they're going to be very good in here. For 2nd, I have Angel Palm, who's scheduled to break for the number 4 post position. Brad Cox's runner makes the 4th start in the United States, goes out for Juddmonte. 1 in entry-level allowance down at Belmont in the middle of May. And for 3rd, number 4, Bill Mott's runner makes the 3rd start since changing barn. 1E, 2, and 4 for me in the 9th race today.
Final break?
Yes, we're up to our final break. When we come back, today's finale on what is a gorgeous morning at the racetrack.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back. Let's dive into today's finale. That's race number 10, and as usual, the finale as the 10th race, scheduled to go off at 6:13 in the p.m. These are $16,000 conditional claimers, non-winners 2 lifetime being the condition, and 7 furlongs being the trip.
And for multiple reasons, I love fuller fields going 7/8 because they have time to work it out before they got to get into the turn. But nice big field here.
And
for
it's
the
fun
finale.
too. Well, I won't be here the 10th, but a lot of times I sit in here and do some work.
Oh, right here.
And if they have a 7 furlong race,
yes.
I go out and live.
7 furlong
literally 20 yards away
yes.
is the gate for the 7 furlong.
3-9-11, folks, for me, and Bezos for Mike Maker. A dirt race for Mike comes off of a turf effort. I was surprised to see only 3-1 on this runner for Tyler Gaffalione. They are dropping way down, so that will facilitate this runner being a short price, 1-10 lifetime. This is a 2L, so it's just a matter of how many times you started. For a second, number 9, Orlando Notice sends out this runner for the 2nd start after claiming for 25. Ran for a 40 2L in June. And for 3rd, number 11, Cathedral Beach, George Weaver's runner. First time in for a tag today with Manny Franco on the outside. 3-9-11.
Something tells me paying $400,000 and naming the horse Bezos, they weren't seeing this horse the middle of the 4-year-old season, running for a $16,000 tag.
Or running in outer space, one or the other.
I have it 3, 4, 11, and 9. Bezos on top. Gets that extra dose of class relief. Turf to dirt move, cuts back to a sprint. There are things to like. Ginsu Warrior. If this horse runs today, and I pulled up scratches, and they usually don't come up until 11 o'clock, but this horse raced on the 28th of July. I like the quick comeback with horses. I think that shows intent and confidence, but we'll see if the horse does actually go. And then in the third spot, Cathedral Beach, off since early in June, where the horse threw in a dud, but I think the horse is better than that if we get back to a better performance. But this is one where you can go either way. Comes back off a dud with a much reduced rate. So we'll see, but I have it down at the bottom of my mix. In the 10th at Saratoga, 3, 4, 11, and 9.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the Handicappers Report. We kick off week 4. It's August 3rd. It couldn't be nicer out for racing. He goes, I stay. Up next, Racing Across America.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.